Hi, I'm Mason Duchatschek, and in today's episode, I want to share a few thoughts with you that I think might help. I heard an old saying once that you don't know how good customer service is until you need it, or until there's a problem. And recently, I was out of town and driving my SUV, and I came to the bottom of a very, very busy intersection, maybe one of the most busy intersections in that particular city. And I got to the bottom of it, and I was blocking traffic, and my vehicle died. I couldn't turn an ignition. I couldn't turn a light. It didn't make any sounds. It was dead as a doornail. I couldn't do anything. And I called my insurance company because I have roadside assistance, and they're supposed to tow me to the nearby dealer or auto repair center. And while I was on the phone with them, they started asking me questions like, would you be willing to take one of our surveys? And I'm like, I'm in the middle of one of the busiest streets in this area. I'm not from here. And you're asking me about survey questions. Like, just what can you do to get me out of the road? What can you do to get my vehicle out? I'm blocking traffic. And they said, well, we'll send somebody there. We'll have a tow truck there in 40 minutes or less. And I'm sitting there just sweating because I know that my car is blocking lots of traffic. And one of the things that happened was when I got the call from the tow truck, they said, hey, we'll be there. And oh, by the way, you're going to have to figure a way to get wherever we're taking it because of COVID, we're not allowing anybody to ride in the cab. So we'll be there in about 40 minutes. I was stranded. I mean, whoever made that decision in management, like this is how we're going to do things, didn't think everything through. And it was a terrible experience across the board. I mean, nothing. And what that told me, my takeaway from that, is that my auto insurance company, whoever the executives were that made the decisions of how they were going to do business, didn't know what it was like to be a customer. They didn't put themselves in the customer's shoes. They didn't experience that. They left it for us to experience. And fortunately, I have apps and I know how to use Uber and things like that, so I'm technically not going to get stranded. But if it would have been someone who, my parents' age, who don't know I guess they've heard of Uber, but don't know how to use it, don't have an app, I mean, I hate to think of what would have been for them in a city that they're not familiar with, stranded at a busy intersection with no way to get to where they're supposed to go. And that was the insurance company's idea of good customer service. What I took away from that was the executives there were taking shortcuts and they were being lazy, and they left it to us to figure out. And they wanted to ask a survey of what we thought how we thought that experience was. So why am I telling the story? It's not to rip on my insurance company as much as I want to. It's to tell you that when you're a manager and when you're a leader and you go about trying to come up with solutions to problems, I encourage you to be the guinea pig. You go through the customer experience and see what it's like first. Then you won't have to wait for bad surveys or bad customer experiences or customers to fire you and go to another company that actually has done that and come up with viable solutions. So, my encouragement to you again, don't let the customer be the guinea pig. If you're the